I'm not very balanced physically. I struggle with that too because man, we come from a different school. Because we don't come from the Eastern school of yoga. We come from the Western school of disco pumping.
Yes, we come from the
club
school
pump.
of I'm ready for the beach.
For the first 4
I'm
years,
doing
it
chest.
was I would only do bicep chest, bro. From like when I started working out from like 20 to 24, I would literally only do bicep chest. Classic disco pumper.
Yeah.
Why? Because I would only work out before the gym. I would only go like the day that I would go to. I would only work out before the club. I would only go the day before of the party. I wouldn't go 5 times a week. So the day off, what's more important? Legs? No.
Never.
Chest and biceps. So chest and bicep, pump, pump, pump. So we come from that school, bro. Like we have never really done anything like yoga or stretching where you learn how to balance or like plyometric movements. I incorporated all of that later on, especially for soccer. Ever since I've been doing that, I told Dylan specifically to do that, like one-legged jumps on the box and down, that type of thing, or the stuff with the resistance bands helps tremendously. And the funny thing is, like with everything, when you haven't really done it, you make a lot of progress very quickly before you stagnate. So a lot of it is low-hanging fruit when you learn something new, especially if you're fit, like someone like you or me. We have the stamina, we have the muscle, we just don't have the balance. But as soon as we do it, you just go up very, very fast. And then, of course, you plateau at some point.
Yeah. That's the attractive thing for me, though, is that it's an area where it's like I was telling you about with the feet just off the ground thing. It's not so far removed that it feels like, that's like I'd talk myself out of it because it seems like it's a far away goal. It's like something I've kind of tried before, but it's a little bit out of my comfort zone, and I'm like, okay, I want to challenge myself to do that, but I still get that little feeling before I begin. Am I going to be any good at this? But I'm able to kind of get over that part of my kind of...
Well, for you, it's also, I think, more difficult, I would even say, because you stick out. You're someone that you look a certain way. You have a lot of tattoos. You're tall. You have very big personality as well. You don't just go under the radar. So naturally, maybe when you walk in, people kind of already look at you. And then you perform. It's like, oh man, maybe people already recognize that I'm here. You can't really hide. You're the type of guy who can't hide. You walk in, people will look. And then it's like, now that I have to perform as well. And the thing is also, because of your work as a DJ, you're used to having all eyes on you. So subconsciously, you will have everything you'll do, you'll feel like people are observing you anyways.
Yeah, I definitely do get that kind of a feeling, which I know I need to switch off. Because obviously then, I watched also the pastor today before he came on onto the stage in church. Well, he's on the stage. They're finishing off the worship. He's in the corner. But he's got his eyes closed. And he's so in the moment. And I'm like, I love this. Like the phrase that we always say about we must be like children to enter the kingdom of heaven is that like he's not thinking about anyone in the audience looking at him thinking, he's odd, he's got his eyes closed and he's speaking in tongues. He doesn't care. He's so in the moment in the worship. He's so following what his heart is saying.
And he has done it a lot too.
And of course, he's a great public speaker and he's a great worship leader. But on the other hand, I'm watching him with his eyes closed, speaking in tongues, and I was inspired even through that because of how absolutely truly connected in the moment he was. And the best of the best in any sport, in any endeavor, are in the moment with themselves. They're not worried about the competition with anyone else. Maybe that competition has driven them to that point, but it's not the driving factor of whether they succeed or not. Because the competition's with yourself, isn't it? Like you want to be the best ice skater, the best skier. You might get inspired by other people that are awesome at it, but then it's a competition of you against you because you won't get there otherwise.
Yeah, but it's good because it's a good thing for your body. You feel a certain level of nervousness, pressure, whatever. It's a good thing both spiritually as well as physically for you when you do that, right?
Certainly.
Yeah.
Yoga is like that though anyway.
Yeah, bro. Yoga, when I do yoga as well, it's funny, man, because I'm not very flexible. And I'm kind of big, like muscular. It already looks kind of funny when when you're kind of bigger and you do yoga, it looks a little bit funny. Also, I'm not very interested in it, which is the other thing. But I know what I actually want to start doing, or I don't even know where to start because I don't know any place in Vegas that does it. I'm sure there is. Kundalini yoga.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Have you done that?
No.
That's the type of thing that is physical, but also very, very spiritual, right? If you do it correctly over a long time. And that's something I'm interested in more than anything for spiritual reasons.
Do you know what the difference is between a traditional yoga practice?
I have no
and a
clue.
Kundalini
I just
yoga?
know the goal of the Kundalini rising, the energy that sits at the base of your spine, which they call the life force.
Yeah.
I think the Easterners call it the chi. It's very similar. Having that rise through the chakras, and then once it reaches the top, that's where you reach enlightenment. But to really do that, from what I've read, it's not just a practice, it's also everything around it, specifically diet, specifically certain type of prayers you have to be involved in. There's a lot of things you need to do to clean the chakras, otherwise that energy cannot flow up. So it's not enough to just do that. But again, for someone who's a beginner who just wants to do it, it's fine for me to just go and do it. And I think, again, maybe that's just me thinking in efficiency terms again. I can hit two birds with one stone.
Yeah, right.
I can get flexible and enlightened.
Yes, exactly. That's what it is, dude. You're trying to optimize.
Yeah, man. But I'd be down to try it if we find a place.
I would 100% try that. Because you've picked up the book that I've got in my place before.
Yeah.
The Kundalini Companion, the big one.
It's the Serpent Rising.
Yeah.
Yeah, by Par, right? Is it Par?
I can't remember who it's by, but my friend who's done Kundalini
Naveen
courses
something.
before recommended that specific book to me. It's like, it's a big read.
That's
it's a thick book,
Yeah.
but it's like it's the golden standard for.
It is. It teaches you so many things. The proper breathing. It teaches you everything. It teaches you awareness. It teaches you breathing. It teaches you being exactly in tune and slowing down your thoughts and really recognizing every single movement that happens in your body. I mean, it's just crazy. Like, even if you go like this and I'm flexing this, you think it's just a finger, right? But
You got
there's
the
something
tendons
happening
and stuff,
here,
and yeah.
right? And then there's something happening in your bicep because the bicep is staying stable, so it's locked in. So it needs to essentially create a counterforce to the muscle tension here. But then if you follow that through, and that was just an exercise I did on YouTube for that specific thing, you actually feel it goes back into your shoulder blade. So like that level of awareness of what's happening in your body is...
Dude, I'm here just doing this now.
Bro, it's like, yeah.
Trying to feel it.
And if you actually want to get to that stage where you feel that energy flowing up, all of that needs to be in balance, and your breathing and your focus and everything in the right proportions. That's the level of science that it really is. So, but I think just going there and doing it again, you learn the basics of breathing, of physical movement, of the alignment of both.
Yeah, that's
what's
good.
important
It sounds
for
like
us.
a great discipline anyway.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe we can try that when you're back.
I say we look into that as well. Add that and make it a New Year's res. See how long we last.
Yeah.
Are you going to set any New Year's reses? I know, because we've chatted about this before. There's no point really. Or are you going to? Let me ask you this in a different way then. Are you going to make any new commitments to yourself that you wish to uphold? Because it's not like big behavioral change things where you're like, right, I'm now going to do this instead of that. They tend to be the ones that are harder to keep up. But if there's something that you've been thinking about doing, like for example, acting classes could be one which is truly on path with where you're going.
But acting classes is, again, it's part of the action realm. I think the goal that supersedes all of that, yeah, acting, sure, like having good relationships, of course, I guess being more aware, all of that, yes. But I think the main goal for me is always, that's my every year's resolution, probably for the rest of my life, is finding emotional balance. I think that's the main thing. And so everything follows that meta goal. So the fact that I'm going, let's say I want to take acting classes, the reason is because I want to expose myself to my fear of feeling stupid. Why is that? Because I get nervous if I do it. And when I get nervous and I do it and I overcome it, I'm going to be able to find more balance in the future when these situations arise. So ultimately, the goal is always, for me, is finding emotional balance, and that's a never-ending quest, which is beautiful. I can make that my every year's resolution.
Absolutely, yeah, because you can just look at the area that you're feeling uncomfortable in, or you're fearful or nervous of, and then approach it.
The only thing that changes is the pathway towards that, because as you go finding peace, you're uncovering, these little stones. You're turning this over, this over, this over, but it's never ending. It's just that now, because you've exposed yourself to certain fears and you don't deal with them anymore, the other fears
Yeah,
are
this is
showing
the
up now.
courageous thing. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
showing yourself you're more courageous.
Exactly. But before that, you don't exactly even know what you're afraid of until you actually start facing
Yeah,
your
you're
fears.
just in fight and flight, isn't it? You're in flight mode then,
And you can think
or
of it,
fright mode.
yeah, or think of it as, you know, a cloud stacked above each other, above another cloud. The moment you move one, you'll see the next one. The moment you move that one, you see the next one. It just keeps popping up.
Yeah.
And it becomes this fun game of exposing yourself voluntarily towards it, which is nothing else but exposure therapy. It's like self-induced exposure therapy, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
And then you can, if you're aware, you can actually literally categorize the degree of fear you hold for each single thing. You might be more afraid of public speaking than you are of starting your business, or you might be more afraid of starting your business than approaching a potential partner, whatever that is. For me, what I found is the higher the degree of fear I have to something, the more exposing myself to that fear is taking care of the other fears, because they're all interconnected.
So you're really trying to find what you're most fearful of then.
Mm-hmm.
And what have you felt like you've come to on that? Have you gotten closer to what feels more of like your core fear?
It's the same thing. It's always the same thing. I think the core fear for most people is truth. And
You're scared of the truth, or
more
finding out the truth
specifically,
about
let me
yourself.
Yes, specifically self-truth. I think that's what most people are afraid of. That's definitely was the case for me. If you break it down, really, it might not be so obvious, but if you actually think about all your fears, I think self-honesty is probably at the top of the hierarchy for a lot of people. The fact that you have to just be extremely direct and extremely transparent with yourself, why it is you think and say certain things. You have to stop bullshitting yourself, essentially. The fact that we're not doing that is because the moment we do it, we have uncovered a flaw or a weakness that we then need to address, which is uncomfortable. So for me, everything comes down to that self-honesty. Honesty towards other people, obviously, but that comes as the next step. Again, like if you tick off that self-honesty part, you will tick off the truthfulness and being honest to other people with that. Again, the fact that I know that I'm afraid of doing this or speaking in public or making myself feel stupid requires for me to be honest with myself and be honest with how I feel about certain things. Otherwise, I won't be able to even see that. So that's always at the top for me in terms of my meta fears. That and then from there, that trickles down to all the areas of your life. And then there's, again, degrees of things that you're afraid of. And then once you tackle the things that you're more afraid of, you're also taking care of the things that you're less afraid of. Because again, from exposure therapy, that's a hallmark finding, is the fact that when you expose yourself to something you're afraid of, you're not becoming less afraid of the thing. You're actually becoming more courageous. And courage is a trait that applies to all fears. So let's say you're afraid of heights. When you expose yourself to heights, it's not that you just become less afraid of heights. You become more courageous to tackle anything else in your life that you're afraid of. That's a cool thing to know, man.
Yeah. That's one of the greatest reframings I've ever heard you talk to me about, is that particular one. Because everybody can understand what they're fearful of, or they have some sense of something that makes them feel a little bit like, I'm not sure if I want to do that. But uncovering those things and facing them, or at least beginning to face them, like small dose at a time, just to remind yourself, you're more than that. It's okay. It's
Exactly.
Okay. There you go. You could do that, and there's the proof.
Yep.
Now you just try a little bit more, and you move that way. For me, that was singing on the weekend. I used to love singing when I was younger. Being musical, I enjoy anything to do with sound. But my voice, I like talking. I enjoy the sound of like how I could articulate things through sentences. But singing was a scary thing for me.
Bro, it's the same for me.
Of course. And I actually thought of you when I went to Korean karaoke. But as I was going in, I was like, I knew I was going to have to sing that night. And sometimes I was singing there, but I felt like the pressure was on more that night, particularly because we were excited to go. And then I'm like, but what if I don't sound good?
Crazy.
Or, the mic's there, and all of a sudden, and then you got to pick a song, and it's like, I knew I was taking longer than normal. Like I'm looking for, what am I looking for? Who cares what song it is? No one's going to judge me on the song. It's
just you avoiding the pain for 2 seconds longer.
I'm just holding it off.
For sure.
So I was like, right, okay, here you go. What do I land on? Linkin Park.
Which one? Numb? That's a good song.
This is a good one.
Bro.
But hard, bro, because he sings at a high... It's high.
Yeah.
But I was trying to rip it. But the point was, I was in
big
that
thing to do,
situation
man.
again, scared of singing. And also, this is probably comes back to a slightly traumatic experience. When I was back in the UK before I moved to America, 2012, I did a cookery show, like a TV cookery show. And there's 5 people that are on it. We each have 1 day of the week to do a 4-course meal. We have to do a starter, main, dessert, and then entertainment. I did the first day, so I got my day out of the way. But I think it was on the 2nd or 3rd day at someone else's house. We do the meal, and then we get taken in. She was like in theatre, and she was like, "So I want to take you to like in." She had like a shed basically that she turned into like a miniature like stage type thing. She had a full band in there, and she was like, "We're all gonna sing together. Everyone's gonna have a solo." And I'm like, "Oh no, I'm on TV."
Bro.
And
How
I'm gonna
old
have to
were you at
sing
that time?
Grease Lightning. Dude, this was 2012, so I was 29,
man,
28.
That's rough. On TV.
And I sang Grease Lightning with cameras, and I'm like, I was off tune and everything. And to me, that's like, that was really hard for me to swallow. At the time, I'm like, fuck, all right, I've just got to do this. And it was embarrassing, but I put pressure on myself because I'm in music that I should be good at that then. I should be able to hold a note. But I couldn't on that day because I got stage fright. But I proved to myself the other night that in an environment where I'm comfortable with a bunch of my friends, where I'm not thinking, are they judging me? Because they're not. They're just having a good time in the room as well, aren't they? They're just enjoying themselves and chatting and catching up. And it's just a fun environment to do it in. That was my exposure therapy for getting over that part of myself, which I guess I'd still held on to from nearly 10 years ago, or longer than 10 years ago, 13 years ago. It's wild.
It's funny you mentioned that because that would be one that I would be horrified of.
Singing, yeah. So maybe we have to do this.
Yeah,
thing.
we have to, bro. I think
live. We'll do a live.
That would be next level. Yeah,
from the karaoke room.
Bring in some instruments too. Man, I think probably I tell you what my traumatic experience must have been. I didn't have anything like that, like you having to do this on TV. But bro, when I was younger, I would sing and record myself on the iPhone. The thing is, when you sing in the shower, you sound phenomenal.
Oh yeah, because you got the natural reverbs.
Dude, you're like, man, I'm the next big thing on TV, man.
I can imagine you belting out some German anthem.
Bro, I'm like, this is it, man. Breakthrough. We're gonna move to Bel Air, man. And then you record yourself, and you're like, shit, man, that ain't happening.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man, shit. And then he's like, must have been the phone. You recorded again.
Yeah. It
Must have been I might have been just nervous. Let me do it again. And you do it like 10 times. You're like, might have to do a different career, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that's why. But like you say, man, it's so important. If this is something that holds you back, and I know it does, it's on my list. That's a good one.
Would you find that harder to do in front of Alex or not harder to do in front of Alex?
No, I don't think it would make a difference.
It would make a difference.
She sings all the time at home.
Okay.
Bro.
Well, you're obviously very
She
comfortable
sings so
with her as
much.
well. Maybe it's in front of people that you don't feel as comfortable with then, or that you don't know as well.
Bro, it's just general. I don't even think it's that complicated, man. If I do it in front of you, I should be able to do it in front of the room.
Well, you already do it in front of me. Think about it. We do sing to each other on our voice notes, the football anthems.
Yeah, exactly.
So
that's
we're kind of doing it anyway.
Yeah, that's fun. I mean, I at home I also sing. I sing like American songs with a Persian accent just to make fun of them.
Dude,
like American bangers. Nothing comes to mind, man. It's like
nothing comes to mind.
I always, because Alex always, she doesn't even react to it, but I always say, what was it? Just any song, just with a thick Persian accent. I just spin it with a Persian accent.
I want to hear one now with a thick Persian accent. Next time you do one, you have to send me.
I'll send it to you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because, dude, a lot of songs pop in my head. I'm like a 90s jukebox. All those R&B songs from back in the day, they're in my head. So sometimes I pick something up on TV, like a line, and then that comes out, you know? The song comes out, and then I spin it. I don't know why. I always spin it in the Persian accent. It's funny.
I think most people mimic where the song's from. Like, you know, people from different cultures, when they sing another artist's song, almost match their accents. You ever heard that? When someone's had a completely different speaking voice, and then when they start singing, they sound like they're from somewhere else?
No.
No, never heard that. Okay.
No.
I hear that a lot.
Well, I know a lot of actors are really good with just changing that on and off their accents, but I don't know about singers.
I think maybe with singing, because you're following a melody, perhaps maybe doing the accent as well makes it easier to memorize it. I'm not sure, but like if I was to sing a Michael Jackson song, I wouldn't sing it in a British accent. I would be mimicking how I hear Michael sing it. Does that make sense? To some degree.
Yeah.
But the fact that you sing in Persian makes me want to hear it.
Yeah, I would sing it like
now I'm like, oh, I want to hear you sing Michael Jackson Thriller.
Billie Jean is not
the
my
Persian
love
version.
She's
Persian
just a girl.
version.
Yeah. She's just a girl.
No. We're doing Korean karaoke now. That's a guaranteed.
But we do Korean karaoke with Persian accent.
Okay.
Just taking it to the next level.
Wow, what a combo that
That's
is.
a great. That's the combo
they
the world
didn't
never know they
need.
needed. Oh man, hilarious. Yeah, bro. But that's good, man. You did the singing. Was it with Lydia?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did she sing?
Yeah, she sang.
She has no problem with that stuff, huh?
Not really, no. She's very good at being able to switch things on when she wants to, when she needs to. And she's kind of fearless in a kind of adventurous way. She'll try, paragliding, jumping off abseiling off the side of a cliff. She just got scuba certified.
Wow.
She's an adventure seeker type of person, very curious nature.
Yeah.
Childlike. And it's epic to be around those types of people because they make you feel that way too. Another thing, perhaps if I was doing Korean karaoke with another group, I would have been less on the mic than when she's there saying, like, she feels like I'm going to be good at this. She said the same about the acro yoga. She's like, I feel like you're going to be really good at this because of this, this, and this. So that already primed me to be in the mode where I'm like, oh, okay. She thinks I'm going to be good. I'm probably going to be all right then. Mm-hmm. At least it gave me a little bit of a boost versus someone just saying, try this, and then you lay down and off you go. It's wicked being around people that also raise you up, that give you a little boost of confidence, or are able to kind of talk to you in a way where it's not them gassing you up. They want you to be good at it, kind of thing, for your own benefit.
Yeah, like they're also
I'm going to help you through this, kind of thing.
And they also embody that themselves, that they're exposing themselves to something they're afraid of. We're drawn towards that because they embodying that adventurous, that seeker, that childlike mentality. Because like you say in the Bible, in order to enter the kingdom of heaven, we have to become like children. We always think about it as curiosity, openness, but in order for you to be curious and open, you also have to be to a certain degree risk-seeking, willing to explore unexplored territory. And exploring unexplored territory means that you have to be less afraid. You have to be courageous. So it's all connected together, right? The fact that you go and you do something new that you're afraid of, that puts you exactly into that childlike mentality.
And that's correlated to overall long-term happiness, seeking novel experiences as you get older, because we get more routine-based and we get more comfortable as we get older. Yeah. So to maintain our levels of joy, or at least, do as much as we can, like look for new things to do.
Interesting. It's interesting because from the psychology personality trait Ocean, OCEAN, openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, neuroticism. Openness is the one that a lot of them change with age, but openness changes with age and goes down. You become less open the older you get, because you approach the end of life and you have already built a map of meaning that got you to that point. So why would you tweak it? So you do become more as you were in the past. You're not really changing anymore. So that's a really good thing to know, that once you're actually doing something new, it correlates with long-term happiness. And I'm sure it also keeps that level of openness probably from regressing again.
That's maintaining your openness is something that is like or trying to maintain your flexibility with your body. And it's doing the same thing for your mind.
True.
Looking for and searching for novel experiences to engage in that put you out of your comfort zone, that are different to things that you've done before, that challenge your habitual patterns.
Specifically things you're interested in. There's so many things that we always say we want to do. It's not even something novel that you need to do that you don't want to do. There's so many things, probably, if you think about it, that you told yourself, oh, I want to do that one day.
Yeah.
That is the one.
Like a pottery class, or
Anything.
I'd like to do the little small little things.
Exactly, man.
Dot some of those in your calendar for you to look forward to.
Yeah.
One a month or something. Maybe that's actually a nice resolution that you could use, rather than it being something that you're kind of committing yourself to that feels like you're shackling yourself or chaining yourself. I've got to do this because I'm not happy with my physique, so I'm going to go to the gym every day for 5 days a week, for the whole of the year. Maybe that resolution's not the right type of one for you. Perhaps you should just be saying, like, I'm going to do one thing each month that I've not done before.
Yeah.
It can be simple.
And it also depends on what you really want. If you're doing the 5 days a week gym thing because other people tell you should get in shape, or you think you need to get in shape because you want to look a certain way, but you don't really feel like you want to do that, you're just doing it for the social norms. That's the thing. Like, you're probably going to do it for a little bit and then you're going to give up. But there's definitely something that you really want to do, and probably also not doing because you're afraid of doing that. Like, there's these insecurities around a lot of things we want to do. If you find one of those, that's the perfect thing to do. Because then it's something you really want to do, but you're not doing it because there's an element that holds you back, makes you feel stupid or insecure about doing it. Those are the best ones, man.
Yeah, because they're driven with something different from inside of you, aren't they? They're not.
Yeah.
It's not something you're looking for external validation from.
Yeah.
Oh, you look good. You've been working out. Yeah, but I'm not doing it for that. Yeah, it's a good way of approaching it. So pottery classes next year then.
I have 0% interest in pottery class.
The reason I said
It's
pottery,
the least on my list.
well, I think that's just, it's fun because you're doing something where you're making something with your hands. I work a lot on my computer. I work a lot on, digital stuff. And music is not something that I can touch. Or I mean, people can play instruments, but I don't do it that way. I'm on a computer moving blocks around. So to do something with my hands, to do something that's fully physical, right in front of me and is shaped that way, that feels kind of interesting or different.
Yeah, a lot of people like pottery class. I'm not into it. But yeah, man, if you like to do it, definitely.
I haven't done it probably since school, but it seems like a fun thing to do, like a fun evening. It's not like I need to do a 10-week course, but I could do.
Who would you do it?
I don't know. I'll just go with someone. And have you ever seen the movie Ghost? Patrick Swayze, Demi Moore, late 80s.
Maybe as a young,
banger
young
movie,
person.
dude.
Yeah,
Banger movie. Whoopi Goldberg, Demi Moore in her absolute prime, short hair but supreme. Girls have got to have long hair. I'm sorry. You can have short hair and be a girl. It's all good.
But she had short hair.
She had short hair.
And
But this Demi Moore.
So you're saying she can pull it off?
She can do that. She watched it.
Did she have a nice jawline?
Unreal. And then I won't give away the storyline, but there's a lot of pottery going on in that movie. It's great. It's a great movie. Watch it with Alex. It's a classic.
Okay.
It's a love story.
Yeah.
But it's really good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll watch it.
I'm not obsessed with pottery, by the way. It's just something that's been on my mind.
Yeah. What about your goals, man, for next year?
So it's interesting because this year one of my goals was to not drink or have any, what do I call it, extracurricular activities throughout the course of the year.
Tick or failed?
No, I failed that.
Failed, okay.
I failed that.
Okay.
But I did half the year, and I got through to July 4th, Independence Day.
So half correct, half fail.
Yeah, so I've been half a good
C.
boy. So when I write to Santa, and I'll be like, I've been half a good boy this year.
Okay. Yeah, I like a C.
Is July 4th the middle of the year, or is it just a little bit less? Or is it a bit more? It's the 7th month, isn't it? Get in, so I'm just over a year. I was proud of myself for managing to do so long, and it definitely set me up for an epic second part of the year because I'd done so much kind of building of the fundamental beliefs in myself again, kind of re-believing in myself and what I'm capable of doing. Because if you talk to most people, especially about stopping drinking or even taking a break from it or whatever else, like something that they know is fundamentally not ideal for them, most people will just immediately snub it. Oh, I could never do that. Most people say that.
Why is it so important to you to give up drinking?
Because I wanted to re-establish discipline with myself. I needed to get to a point where I treated myself in a different way, and I treated my relationship with alcohol in a different way. It'd become like I'm in the club a lot, right? In environments where it is, especially in Vegas too. Vegas doesn't matter what day it is, what time of day it is. Someone's out there boozing. It's just the place that it's so readily available and so socially acceptable to just be having a shot of Jameson at 8:30 on a Tuesday morning. Like, I'm not saying that's how bad I was.
No, I know.
But there's periods where my drinking was just not not at a good level, and I knew it was affecting my mental processes. I also knew it was affecting my physical goals. I want to be fast at football. I can't be, if I'm overweight or, these other things just bothered me.
Yeah.
And mostly because I wanted to prove to myself like that was, it's a fear to have any kind of attachment that looms over you that you know is not good for you.
Yeah.
So I had to be like, right, well then you got to prove to yourself then that you can cut that out and that's not something that you hold on to.
Can I ask you something about it?
Yeah.
Why do you think you weren't able to sustain it in the second half of the year?
Because I gave myself the second half off. On July 4th, Independence Day, I was in on my own. And this is going to sound like an excuse, but it was kind of like me saying, well done, mate. You've done half of a year. Like, that 6-month stretch is more than you've done since you began drinking at age 14 or whatever it was. And I don't think I'm going to be somebody that is sober for the rest of my life, but I want to have a relationship with alcohol or anything else where I am not taking advantage of it and I'm not allowing it to take advantage of me. So I had to do that to prove to myself. And I've thought this a bunch of times since, like, maybe that's my thing. Maybe I just do the first half of the year. I always take a 6-month break. Maybe I try and do 9 months now. Maybe, I don't know what it is. I'm going to approach it with how I feel and how I'm now just a bit more tuned into my body, and I care more for the way my mind works.
Yep.
In business, in my relationships. I just care more about being switched on and being, we say aware, but like most people are awake in the day and absolutely asleep.
Absolutely.
And I used to be one of those people. I see people now who will talk to me about situations that we've had together and I don't remember their name. I can't remember what we did. So it affected my memory. I don't want to be like that anymore. I want to have clarity. I want to be able to meet people, remember things, be sharp, be able to quickly. And I enjoy when I'm quick. One of my favorite things is to be able to be in a situation where we're talking to somebody and be sharp and witty with something. I love being that guy. So I can't be that way though if I'm foggy.
That's right.
So yeah, that's why I kind of switched all those things
Interesting.
around.
So,
but July 4th was that was the day where also, the voice came in and was like, "You done really well."
Yeah, man, that's interesting. Actually,
well. Go on, have one today.
I believe that's the reason over 90% of New Year's resolutions fail, because I think people make a little bit of progress, and that's exactly I think what's happening with most people. They see the progress, they give themselves the pat on the back, and they revert. With you, it lasted longer than for most people. 6 months, 7 months, already a good time. But I think that in general is the challenge with setting goals that are based on expectation.
Yeah.
Rather than choosing to be that person internally, independent of any external marker, let's say. Well, that's the thing, I think. If I had to, because I want to ask you, when that voice, you said that voice just came to you sometime in July, did you have a back and forth with that voice? Or was it just
that day?
In general, like that period before you started drinking again?
I barely had that voice. After a while, that voice gets very quiet, and it's just not there because you've made a decision that you just be in a certain way. And I was just not the guy that was out drinking or doing anything else. So first of all, there's a little bit of a kind of social pushback period where you're around your mates and they're all doing the same kind of things that they normally are, and you're the outcast that's not doing that at the moment. Mm-hmm. And then there's a bunch of questions that come in. Like as soon as you say, "Oh, I'm not drinking," it's like, "Oh, you've gone sober." Like it's so 1 or 0. Oh, you don't drink anymore. Well, I'm just not drinking at the moment. But
did you feel like you had to justify yourself?
To begin with, yeah. When there's a little bit of peer pressure, there's more peer pressure in Vegas because, like I say, everybody's always doing it. So and people are pushy here. You know, you're out somewhere and the shots are already coming out. I'm like,
so would you say that your willingness, or let's say your valuation of giving up liquor, was lower than your willingness to fit in to a certain degree.
No.
The reason I'm asking that is because you did say like it felt a little bit like justification sometimes when people would ask.
To begin with, yeah, because you're changing your behaviour. People don't tend to react very well to you changing your behaviour. A lot of the time, they're definitely supportive, but people want to be around other people that are drinking. If you're drinking, you want to be around other people that are drinking. You don't want to be around a bunch of sober people.
Right, but my question is, why was the reaction not? Yeah, I stopped drinking. Why was the reaction? Yeah, but currently I'm not drinking. Why was the energy behind it justifying rather than just being?
I hear what you're saying.
That's my question. That's my question. Like, why is it? Because that's the difference maker between going forever or like going for a year versus going 7 months. That's where the difference maker is. That's probably where your answer lies as well, the real answer of why it is that it lasted 7 months, which I'm not diminishing. I'm just curious to understand, because I think a lot of people would benefit getting insight into what the mechanism is and what the conversation internally is, the monologue that leads to, then going again the other way.
Well, I can tell you that on the day that I decided, you know what, I'm going to have a drink today, that was down to me convincing myself that it's July 4th. If there is a day for me to do that, then today can be it. And that's okay.
The cheat day.
Yeah.
That's the cheat day.
Yeah. It was like, all right, well, you've done 6 months. Like, what are you, like, who are you proving this to? And I was having these kind of conversations with myself too. And then I'm like torn between those two parts.
Yeah.
Like, but I promised myself I was going to do the year. I want to do the year. And then there's the other part going, that's not what the promise you're making to yourself. The promise you're making to yourself is that you're going to have a better relationship with this, is that you're going to discipline yourself to be able to make better decisions. And so that part of me is kind of convincing as well, right?
Yes.
So I'm like, okay, fair enough. And there's truth in that too, because I don't believe myself to be somebody that is never going to have a drink again. I want to have that opportunity to be able to do that at some point.
I see.
And I think to tie it back into fears as well, perhaps that's part of my exposure therapy here was to do 6 months. And maybe I do longer.
When you said that, exactly, your answer was, I proved to myself. Like, there was a voice within me. It's like, who else do you want to prove it to? You proved it to yourself. You have that better relationship with alcohol now. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been able to sustain it for 7 months.
And I've kept
which happened,
that better relationship with alcohol.
So the goal was different. Like, I guess your mindset when it came to that was not, I choose to be the person that doesn't drink anymore. Your mindset was, I'm going to prove to myself that I'm able to say yes and no, how I want it, rather than it controlling me 100%. Or the environment controlling me. So that's why it's different for you. And if that's the goal, you really tick that off, because your goal wasn't, I will never drink again.
No, my goal was a year. There's a little bit of me that's like, okay, but you did say a year though. So I'll always give myself that, but you did say a year. So I've ticked it, but I've also kind of underlined it at the same time.
That's interesting. But because for me, when I gave up drinking, for me, the driver was health. I get these double heartbeats. I was in Miami and I was drinking one night, and I would drink on the weekends, Fridays and Saturdays when I would go out. And then I was in Miami. I woke up with this racing heart and then these double heartbeats, arrhythmia. I get scared, so I stopped drinking, and I said I'm not gonna drink for a week. Turned into a month. I'm like, okay, turned to 3 months, turned to 6 months. And so the goal initially was just to make sure I'm not getting sick or that I'm not getting heart attack or something. It was purely fear-based. It was not, I wanted to elevate spiritually. That was absolutely not the goal. So I stopped doing that. And then, funny enough, what happened was, that's the reason I stopped drinking. When I stopped drinking, I stopped partying. I lost my interest in partying. So when I stopped drinking the first 2 months, 3 months, I'm like, okay, I don't want to go to the club. Let's go to the club. Yeah, wait, but you're not drinking. Shit, boring. I'm not going to go out. Went once or twice, boring. And then 6 months in, I realized I didn't drink, I didn't party. But I also realized, like, I had signed with this agency. I started looking into the protein bar stuff. It's like almost that energy that otherwise would have been manifested Friday and Saturday nights at Excess, my favorite place at that time, was now manifested in coming up with a recipe to bake a protein bar, or finding a way to be signed by agency X and Y. Funny enough, so then I realized again, it's like, oh, that's weird. That was so far. I never thought when I had the heart race in Miami, the double heartbeat, that me giving up drinking is going to lead to these outcomes. They just happened as a result of it. And I think that's then when I realized, okay, this is now less about the alcohol. It's less about the double heartbeat. It was, I guess, me realizing that energy is going somewhere. That energy is going to redirect itself. And it redirected itself towards a more, I guess for me, a more fulfilling adventure. And at that time, I was also single. At that time, I wasn't really doing all the things that I wanted to be doing. This was even, I think, this might have been when I was still part-time with Fuller Health. So I wanted to be full-time with them. I was still teaching here and there at UC Riverside, so I was in this limbo. I wasn't signed to those agencies. I didn't do like the acting classes, everything that I wanted to do. So all of a sudden, I moved towards all of that as a result of giving that up, which was a nice thing for me to realize. And also nice to see because I found so much value and distraction in those Fridays and Saturday nights that all I was really doing subconsciously Monday through Friday was looking forward to that. That looking forward to that is also a distraction from the thing in front of you that you could identify with on a day-to-day. And then from there, I guess it just phased out. I never had the goal of not drinking. It just kind of happened this way.
Yeah, because and to your credit, you just chose to be a different way. You didn't set yourself that, oh, I'm going to do a year or I'm going to do till this date. You just decided.
Initially, I did 1 month. And initially I did 1 month.
But then yes. The natural side of you took over afterwards when you realized that other things started cropping up in your life that were way better suited to you than XS nightclub.
Yeah. Well, it definitely, but also part of me is like, man, I'm not even going out anymore. Am I going to meet a partner?
And this is how I felt the first half of the year, bro.
Yeah,
I was also celibate the first part of the year, which was another random thing for me to do. But
that is a big one, bro.
I can't say I've kept that up either, but
but still.
But the point of it being
as a single guy in Vegas,
again, to try and teach yourself that you can do that's hard things for me.
How much of that came from you connecting with God and going to church again and getting baptized?
All of it was kind of aligned at the same time because when you're doing and being better at your
right,
connection
things
with,
fall into place.
Everything else does begin to fall into
it's
place.
Crazy.
Because also then you're not creating any bodily stress. Like I'm not inflaming myself by having alcohol and then having shit sleep and then being stressed out or annoyed the next day and it taking another day for me to actually get back to baseline and then it's Thursday and I might have a drink that night and then it's Friday and then we're back on it again. Like otherwise it's just you're like that all the time. You're erratic.
Well, it's a lot of distracting noise.
Yeah.
And I think once you silence that distracting noise, really if you want to call it that, your spirit and your soul will then be able, if you're willing to tune in, and to a certain degree you have to tune in when you don't hear anything else anymore, when you don't have the parties, the liquors, the girls, and all the noise, and let's say the friends you surrounded yourself with that were just part of that scene. Once you silence that, almost seems like then your energy can get redirected towards the things that are more fundamental. But they were buried within you and they were cluttered with all those other noises around it. And so it makes sense that all of a sudden it almost seems to happen organically that you pursue that and you pursue that. And funny enough, you keep pursuing that because that feels good. As a matter of fact, it feels much better in the long run than the short-term gratifying behavior, right? So even your entire system, your physical system, the excretion of serotonin is going to keep you moving towards that, aim towards the higher goal. It's just the first part is the beginning part is difficult because you have to give up those short-term boosts, these short-term dopaminergic gratifications. Bam, let's go. Those highs are going to be gone. However, the baseline high is going to get higher. Bro, that baseline high that's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's like, really, you don't want to trade that.
That's when you wake up on a Monday morning and you're buzzing.
Bro,
like,
Monday's like Saturday.
Week,
Tuesday's like Sunday. There's no such thing as Monday.
Yeah, there's no such thing as the day of the week.
Imagine how beautiful that would be, right? If you could have that life where every day is Saturday, Sunday, where every day is like, man, like I look forward to doing this. I'm not just living for today to have the Friday. I'm not living for Monday to Thursday to have Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday I'm already, shit, man, I have to wake up tomorrow. Imagine you could have that. At the absence of those spikes, I would say most people would choose that. I think so. But in order to get there, you have to at least get a grip on those short-term gratifying behaviors, because otherwise you're redirecting your energy towards it. Your energy, man, you're a bundle of energy. It's not gonna go away. It's just, where does it go?
Yeah, 100%.
Does it go
where
there?
Does it go?
Is it go there? Is it gonna go inside? Where is it going? So that part is a choice.
Yeah, it goes where you place your attention.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right. Is there anything that you're doing in your life that's holding you back? You like,
Maybe to a certain degree, not taking the risk quicker
this is
than
a
I
big
could.
one for me too.
Yeah. So, for example, glory bars. I know it's happening. That's actually one you want to goals for 2026. That's one of the more practical goals, is glory bars, which is going to be the protein bar that we've been working on for probably now a year and a half, more or less, with all the recipes and tweaks. And so the thing is that Jordan really liked it, and there is a chance that we end up doing this together. And I think part of the fact that I haven't pushed it enough yet is I'm waiting. Like, what's gonna happen? Am I doing it alone? Am I doing it with them? What's gonna be the scenario? So some of it is probably just being patient a little bit, because again, there's different parties involved now. It's not just me. But even before that, it was partially me thinking about how much am I going to invest, who's gonna make it, how much of my savings is that gonna eat up. So there's there was a little bit of risk aversion in there too. I think at this point I know that I'm doing it either alone or with them. That's something that I've decided for myself. But that's always something when it comes to maybe starting my own business and pushing that forward, is that part that you need to invest in yourself in order to get there. Like, that's always going to be a big one. And the fact that I learned to never having to justify to myself that when I invest money into something that I'm passionate about, that I should look back at it or feel a certain way about it, because I've earned the peace I have with myself, and that the goals that I'm setting and the things that I want to pursue are good. So there is no need for me to justify that. I know that I'm not doing it for the wrong reasons. I know that I'm doing them for the right reasons. And when I know that, I should have my other areas and energies in life flowing with it. And money is just part of it. Your finances are part of it. If you don't invest that in the things that you know are good for you, what are you doing? You're capping the natural flow of energy towards something you're passionate about. That sets yourself up for failure.
Yeah, risk aversion is just the same thing again, isn't it? It's fear.
It is. Yeah.
It's being scared of what the outcome might be.
Yeah.
Or what if that? And then,
What if that? What if that? What if you
but what if
invested,
that?
it goes gone?
What if that though?
Yeah, but even what if that? Then it was the right choice. You have to be convinced that it's the right
You have to
choice,
be convinced it's the right
independent of
choice.
the
Yes.
outcome.
Dr. Ellen Langer again. She's
It's
a banger.
independent of the outcome, and that's the whole thing that we're always talking about: is can you do it independent of the eye on the price? Can you do it independent of seeing Glory Bar at Erewhon? Can you see it independent of the financial gain? Can you see it independent of the house and the car that it brings? You have to be honest with yourself. Can you? Because if you can't, then you're going to see it as a failure if it doesn't work. But if you can, if you are honest enough and you can say that this is just something that feels right for me, this is something that's going to develop me, my mind, my risk aversion, my spirit, because it's aligned with my passion. If you can follow it that way, man, the 0-1 outcome is an icing on the cake. Sure, it'd be nice if it blows up. Beautiful.
Yeah,
but even if it doesn't, it's not going to be something I would look back at and say, I shouldn't have done it. That's the main point. That's how you want to set yourself up when you go about these things.
Yeah.
And I am at that point. So that's why now I know that I can invest whatever it is that I decide to invest, that I need to invest, and just do it, knowing that if it's there or there, it was still the right thing. Because if it's there, I know that it's the right thing because it was part of the divine path.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't come out of the wrong reasons, me doing it. It came out of the right reasons.
Yeah, the right reasons, specifically in this case as well, is just to make the healthiest, best quality product that you can,
Yeah.
which is what you do anyway in your working with Jordan and
Yes.
Michaela. You do that. And on top of that, like you say, it's your passion. It's chocolate and protein. Like, we're eating protein bars anyway.
Dude, I always tell you this.
Why not
is
make the best one?
the best, exactly. And I always tell you this is my formula for doing things. The 3 criteria. I probably repeated that 10 times to you, and I'll do it again because this is an example of it. If there's something you're genuinely drawn towards, passionate about, you just have a natural interest. I love protein bars. As a matter of fact, I eat way too many. Yes, I have that. The second part is it something that is good for other people, not just for you? Is it not just self-serving? Yes, it is, because I'm making the healthiest protein bar.
Net
There's
benefit.
people like me, like you, that like to eat healthy, but also like tasty, right? So it's going to have a net benefit for society. The third part, is there a fear involved in you pursuing that? Sure is. Financial risk, societal risk. What if I fail? How are people going to perceive me? What about the dent in my bank account, right? So the recipe is passion, tick. Net societal benefit, tick. Am I afraid of doing it? Tick. Every time these 3 criteria are ticked off, I have to do it. It's my responsibility. If I don't do it, I'm sinning. Kata, in the religious sense, I'm missing the aim.
You're missing your potential.
Yes, the aim here
Yeah.
being the potential. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I have to do it.
Bro, I'm excited to see what's going to happen with this then.
Mm-hmm.
Because whether you like it or not, I'm a part of that.
Yes. Exactly.
So let's send it. Yeah, you're right with the 3 points of purpose.
And so
You can't go wrong with that, really, can you? If you're passionate about it, it's a net benefit for the world.
yeah.
And you're a little bit scared of what can come of it. Just get the wheels moving.
Even take it further. You have to do it.
Yeah.
Tell yourself that it's your responsibility to do
Yes.
it. Because if you don't say it's your responsibility, you will always flirt with it, negotiate with it. But if you tell yourself it's the responsibility, because quite literally in the biblical sense, you're sinning because you're missing the aim. The aim being your passion, something that's good for other people, and something that allows you to develop spiritually. How much better than that can you aim for?
That's the banger framework there, bro. That really is. Respect for that.
Thank you, bro.
I think I'm going to adopt that. I'll let you know how it works out for me, and if there's any additional bits that need to be added to that we haven't thought of. But bro, that seems to be the way to approach stuff.
Yeah, it's worked for me.
One of my fears is releasing all of the things that I've made, right? Like what we do with product development as well is you want to make sure that you're developing it, and it's not quite ready yet. Like again, the patience thing is what is part of it. And as a musician, when I'm making things, I often don't feel like it's ready. But there's another side to that as well of the kind of me needing to let go of what I've made. At least 12 singles for next year. Let's just put it out on tape now. 1 a month minimum. I'd like to do more than that.
Wow.
I've already got the next 3 releases scheduled, and they're every 2 weeks. So one came out on Friday, next one comes out.
Fibonacci. Let's go, bro.
Next one comes out on the
What a cool
19th,
name for a track.
I think, and then another one on the 3rd of January. So I'm set for the next, these 3, which gets the movement going. And I say this before, it might be hard for me to accept on the lead up to things that something's coming out, but as soon as I've put the date down, then immediately the pressure comes off of me.
Mm-hmm.
Like don't worry, it's in the catalog, it's coming out, the date's set.
Beautiful.
Then I can kind of let go of that, and I can just make content to go with it, or talk about it and get excited about it.
Yeah, and it also this allows you from, again, flirting and negotiating with the idea of it. It's the date, it's set, and it's going out.
Yeah, and it keeps my bar high, because then I know that, well, I'm going through the things that I've made, so I have to then make more to substitute like what's going to.
It's the same with our episodes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kind of the same thing. Exactly. You have to push them out in order to then go and make more. Otherwise, you'll sit on, let me release it in a month from now. This one wasn't so good. We'll record another.
When was the best time we've ever felt with a podcast? When we had 4 episodes, 5 episodes ahead of ourselves. We knew this was coming out this date. We had all of the thumbnails, everything designed. It looked sexy. We get excited by that. Then all of that process then reinfuses the other side of it, which keeps that going.
Yes, and it also.
But if you let that slow down for any of those little parts, it requires more energy to get it moving again.
For sure. And by the way, man, that's actually the reason we're still so excited about this. We just did the rebranding yesterday. We've been talking about this for so long. This is because we're not doing it with the eyes on the prize or the outcome. Otherwise, we probably would have given up at some point. If we did it for following or monetization, we would have given up. But we're genuinely so passionate about it that it makes it easy to stay on track. It's like, if you think about that, why do a lot of people give up is because they're doing it for the reason of being seen. They're doing it for the reason of becoming rich. Mm-hmm. And then you see, oh my God, we've done it for 1 year and we have 167 subscribers. We just lost one yesterday because we were 168.
Did we? Oh no.
Whoever
we can lose one more.
Whoever went away, don't come back. Never come
we're not
back
interested
again.
in
We don't
you.
want you. The ones that stayed, we love you. Yeah. So the reason that we're still doing is because we're identified with what we're doing, man, and then that makes it easy. That makes it much easier to stay on track.
Yeah, dude. And I'm glad we've stayed on track. I mean, there's periods where we've done a little bit less recording, but consistency's still been there. We're still doing it. It's a year on.
Yeah.
This is nearly nearly our 1 year anniversary. I think we released our first episode
December.
Boxing Day, 26th of December.
Yeah.
Last year.
Mm-hmm.
We should have made a Christmas special, wearing ugly sweaters or something.
Yeah, you're coming back after Christmas. We can do it.
It's good to be able to keep things up. It feels good, doesn't it? It's like when you get through the list at the end of the day, the feeling of accomplishment that I did that. Okay, good. And again, like we always say, the voice that is in your head of you sticking to what you said you were going to do.
That's huge, bro. That's huge because you're building self-trust. When you tell yourself you'll do something, you do it, you tick it off, you look back as someone that you can rely on. How can you rely on anyone else if you can't rely on yourself? You have to be able to rely on yourself.
Mm-hmm. You just got to be better than yourself yesterday. Try and be 1% better than yesterday. That's a good way to do it. No?
Yeah, I hear a lot of people saying that.
Well, you kind of are, aren't you? I think you probably approach most things in your day that way. Certainly, I know you approach football, boxing, that kind of way. Mm-hmm. Each time you're there, you're going to be like, oh, I've got a little bit more juice. I know I can do another round.
I tell you the only problem I have with that phrase. I have a lot of problems with a lot of phrases that are on Instagram and stuff. Like, you can't accept me at my worst.
Oh, yeah.
Don't come back at my best.
They're
that type of
bastardized.
stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, all of those, they're not really thought through. A lot of people like to post them. This one specifically, be 1% better than the thing you were yesterday. It presumes that you have a discipline problem.
Why does it?
I don't think.
I'm not. It doesn't have to be about percentages.
But this specific case that we just discussed, like,
be better than you were yesterday.
Be yesterday, and then be able to follow through with what you said you will follow through with. Like, we had that specific example. When you look back at the day, you have a certain level of self-trust when you tick the things off that you said you will do. So just be 1% better when it comes to that. It would mean that become more disciplined. Like, if there's something you set out to do it, follow through with it. I think the more I look at it, man, the more I realize the people that are not able to follow through with what they say, I don't necessarily think it's a discipline problem. I think the problem is the type of things that they're pursuing. I do believe everyone is consistent and is following through with something in their life. Mm-hmm. The thing that they're passionate about or the thing that they value the most, to bring it back to the value hierarchy. If you look at anything that people value the most, it's almost the discipline and the following through comes as a byproduct of it. So I think the more you can set up your life in a way that aligns with the things that you naturally are drawn towards and you want to pursue, the less you have to work on discipline. Why is it that when we have to record, it's fairly easy for us to be disciplined and show up? But I remember when I worked an office job in Germany or in the UK when I was at TJ Maxx headquarters, it was very difficult for me to wake up at this time and do it and then show up there and do my work. Why? Because the consistency was tied towards doing something that just didn't feel like it's naturally the thing that I want to do. So I had to build discipline. I had to build consistency. So I almost had to build something to like get me from here to here. But if I'm actually doing something that is naturally flowing with the tendencies towards what I'm interested in, what I'm naturally drawn towards, I am consistent with it. So if you really have to work so much on consistency and discipline, I think you have to rethink what it is you're doing.
I don't disagree with that. I'm saying, and we don't need to even make it about 1% better than yesterday. It's more about that's the only person you're in competition with, yourself yesterday. That's what I mean by that.
Yeah.
So each day, if you approach how you were yesterday, can I tweak that? Can I upscale that bit of me? Like, that's just being inwardly reflective about your actions and behaviors and situations and environments, and looking at where you can improve, and then actively challenging yourself to do that each day.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I get it. And I would even add to that, if you're doing something, or if you've set out a roadmap that is aligned with something you're genuinely passionate about and you're valuing, then that mindset of being better, more often than not, is a natural byproduct of it. You will have to bring it to the top of your head less, or almost view it as something that you constantly need to remind yourself of.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yes, because this makes me think of when I was making The Story of Everything. There was no stopping me from getting up that next morning. I couldn't wait to. I wish I didn't have to sleep, because I would be like, I can't wait to wake up again and get started. When you love the thing, making the process of it is what you're loving. The journey of it is like the chase of creating the best possible thing that you can.
Yep.
Becomes the most epic journey of all time.
And I think the challenge for most people when it comes to this is, I see this with Alex, by the way, is the fact that they are passionate about this, but it's not making money yet. That's the biggest challenge with that. Is like, we have to pay our bills, I have to do my job, but then I also have to do this. So at some point when you do this, if you invest enough time, you'll get there. You'll be fortunate enough that you can actually do what you love and be paid for it. But in the beginning, I think the challenge is going to be, can you do that independent of the outcome and independent of the payment? Can you just do it for the sake of doing it because you love it, and having the faith that ultimately that will play itself out in favor financially, socially, and then you know, that's kind of the promise you have to make to yourself, because that's the reason a lot of people are not pursuing that stuff, is because it's not realistic. It's not realistic. I need to pay the bills. I need to do this. And for a long time, I think you will have to have both of those going at the same time. You'll have to do the job that you're doing purely based on the outcome, the paycheck. And then you do the thing that you're just doing for identification purposes, taking your eyes off the prize, because that might be far removed, but maybe it's not.
Yeah.
But for some time, it definitely is.
Yeah, that's been my experience, because I didn't treat music production or DJing as what I felt was going to be my number one thing. Like, I was working in a telemarketing call center when I started DJing.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, but I had to do both. I would go home at night and practice, play on my vinyls, and then the daytime I was at work. And that was my journey, and I think that'll be a lot of people's journey.
Yeah.
To initiating what their passion is, and sometimes it starts off as the side hustle, but if you keep at it, whatever that thing is, you will get to it.
That's very true. I now realize that even my job, I got exactly through the same process, because I was teaching at UCR. Not even teaching full-time. I was a student. I was an international student. So the pay was even low at UCR, because I was a teaching assistant, $2,200 a month. But at the same time, I built a public Instagram. I built it from 0 to 22,000 was the peak, I think. Then it comes down when you stop posting. But I built it without monetizing it. I wasn't even able to work outside of UCR because I was an F1 international student. So I just built it for the sake of building it, because I was passionate about it. It's like, I'm going to the gym. You know, I like to hack the algorithm. Let's see what works, how I can post and what time to build this, the following. I was just identified with that. I did that. And then ultimately the job I got was because I could use that as a reference of building a social media following, because the job initially that I was doing was, or the job description was, social media manager.
No way, I didn't know.
That was initially what it was. Yeah, that was what it was. And then they realized they actually wanted to hire one person that runs everything, you know, that oversees everything, you could say. But the fact that I was able to write that in my cover letter, hey, by the way, I built my own Instagram from this to this, that got them curious. So it was that in combination with the PhD. So you don't know, you know, no, God knows ways that you do not know of. So the way that you get to walk God's path is really pursuing that passion, the thing that you're identified with. And you don't know through which ways that might actually lead to something that pays off financially. And I'm sure if it didn't for that job, it would have served me somehow else. As a matter of fact, I got signed to 2 modeling agencies because of that too. So it was not just my main job, it was also that. So you have to have that faith, and you have to have that resilience of, yeah, maybe I'll have to work my 9 to 5, and I'm just going to build something I'm passionate about, and then that hopefully will allow me to transition in the future at some point.
Yeah, and this is like, how much do you want it? Like, if you really want something, you will go out of your way to make sure that you spend time doing it.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
So find out what that is.
Yes.
And embrace it.
Yeah.
With both hands. And then you never know, like, your dreams can come true. Like,
For
you could
sure,
end
man.
up being, one day you'll be looking back going, I can't believe that thing which I thought was completely disconnected and nothing to do with where I am now actually led me to this point.
Mm-hmm. Dude, I'm seeing things in the US where people actually make a career out of that it baffles me. And then it baffles me, and then I'm thinking, like, man, this is the greatest country on earth. We were watching this
you couldn't get away with this in Germany.
You can't. No, there's this house restoration show I was watching with Alex. These people buy like old almost like vintage houses. There was this couple that was buying this house, and there was this very old oven in there, original from I don't know how many years ago, 100 years ago or so. And they wanted to keep everything as vintage as possible, but get it restored. And so they were showing on that show that couple then called an vintage oven restoration expert consultant. That person didn't even do the repairs. They were a consultant for the oven. Like, I would change this knob, this is how I would color it, and then she would mediate to find the company that does the renewal. I was looking at Alex, I'm like, man, these people are paying a consultant for an oven. I would take that thing, rip it out, and throw it out, bring in a brand new oven. What the hell, bro? It's like, the vintage oven? Who wants vintage oven? And then there's this lady who makes a career out of it. I'm sure that lady was like, she loves vintage ovens. She started like researching that. She became an expert in that. Like, what are these knobs made of?
Yeah.
How do you recolor them? Imagine you told your mom this. She would say, are you out of your mind? What are you doing? Just go get a real job, man.
My mum's a vintage oven expert. For sure.
Dude,
our oven in our kitchen's vintage, for sure.
Bro, like, if that is something that you can create a career out of, there's really nothing you can't make a career out of.
That's
now.
Absolutely true.
Gaming. Be a professional. Even people say, I only want to play video games. Well, then become the best video gamer in the world at what it is you're doing. That's a way to do a career as well. Find out a way to get sponsored. What is it you need to do? Like, you're actually passionate about that. You have a job you don't really like, keep that. But, try to monetize whatever it is you're doing. Look into it. And there's even a way for that. There's a way for everything to do it. But it's being persistent. And it's also, because of your persistence and your natural interest, having strategies in place to improve. It's not just enough to do it. You have to align your actions with improving. Like you say, improving on the path as you go. That needs to be part of it. You can't just be stagnant and say, I just like to watch movies and not do anything. Well, if you like to watch movies, what if you did something with movies that also brings a creative element into it? What are you creative about? I don't know. I like sound. Well, what if you map your interest in movies and your interest in sound together? Could you maybe work on becoming a sound expert for movies? What is it, right? You have to kind of you have to have a little bit of an oomph, like a drive in there as well.
Which means you got to ask yourself these questions.
Yeah,
you got
be self-aware.
Yeah, you got, but then there's I did a personality test, and it actually did two, to try and, because sometimes when you're asked a question, or if you're trying to figure out like, what other things do I enjoy doing, then all of a sudden it becomes difficult for you to actually decide, what do I like? But if you're asked specific questions, like on tests, it can lead you down, like a bit like a therapist sometimes.
Yes.
It can get you to a point where you go, oh yeah, that makes total sense. I love doing that. How have I never thought of that before? Mm-hmm. But you got to go and ask those questions first.
Yes. And I think even before you go and ask those questions, you have to practice some level of awareness.
Sit with it. A level of awareness, like what? Being in silence to get to that point? Or what do you mean by that then?
Mm-hmm. You have to actually know what it is that's going on inside of you first. You have to become an observer of what is going on inside of you. Otherwise, you'll just be autopilot. So you have to shift into observer and awareness mode to begin with. I think that's the beginning for everything. Because
Well,
you can ask, how do you even become aware of your thoughts? How can you become aware of your interests? How can you become aware of asking that question? Like, how can someone become aware of that, right? It's like that awareness of that thing is a prerequisite for any of that to happen. And then you can ask, how does it happen? How can I become aware?
Yeah, and
That's kind of the-
we discussed the different ways to kind of be able to have communication with yourself, rather than your mind. Meditation being one of them. But there's also like even going for walks or being in places where you're not, like the shower. Like sometimes you get amazing ideas in there because you're involved in an action which is like washing yourself, which you're on autopilot for. So your mind has the capacity to wander off into other areas, maybe.
Yeah, I think that yes to all of those. The easiest one is just close your eyes.
The easiest one is close your eyes and then let your imagination come into play.
Yep, close your eyes. What do you sense? Close your eyes. What do you sense?
When I close my eyes
Yeah.
now? What do you mean? What am I? What
What
my
are you aware of?
awareness? I'm aware of that I'm in the podcast room.
What else?
That I'm limitless.
What else?
That I'm very calm. Don't have any specific ideas or anything popping into my head. Though it's more just a state of calmness and peacefulness. Do you have specific things that you're seeing, or
No, I think,
do you feel
like
a
you said,
certain way?
interestingly enough, you started with, I'm in the podcast room. You started with the physical. So you were aware of your physical vessel, but you weren't your physical vessel because you were aware of your physical vessel. And then you said, I'm aware of feeling at peace. So you moved from the physical to the mental. So you now observed your emotion. So you became aware of your emotion. First you became aware of your body and then of your emotion. So really,
I actually said I was limitless in between that.
or limitless in between that.
Yeah,
Right? So-
because it was almost my opposite reaction to saying I was in the podcast room.
Exactly.
Was
Yeah.
then to be with my eyes closed, and I'm like, well, I'm actually in space.
Yes. Well, that's exactly how you become aware. That's just what it is. Doing that makes you more aware. That's where it starts, man.
That's
But
where it
how many
starts.
people do that?
Yeah,
Just that. That's all it is, man.
it's getting clear with yourself, then, isn't it?
Hmm?
If you cut off any distractions, TV, phone, noise, or anything else, and just be with yourself for a bit, you'll get some answers.
That's a spiritual hygiene you have to follow.
Yeah.
Even if it's 5 minutes a day, man. It's like you're flossing your teeth, bro. You like going to the gym, you're cooking your food, you're sitting in silence. Just observe. That's how you practice awareness. Because the more you do this, the more you're gonna be able to become aware of the things that you're discussing internally, all these dialogues you're having throughout the day, all these interpretations of the things that are happening around you. Oh, this person's looking at me this way. You want to be able to notice that when that happens, so you're aware of it. But in order for you to do that, you have to have that muscle. You have to have that muscle of having control of your emotions, of your body, of your interpretations, of your attention. That's where it all starts, man. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to even ask the right questions.
Have you noticed that when you're very switched on, when you feel like you're hyper aware almost, in a good way, not hyper aware like I'm judging everything as a threat. I mean hyper aware like you feel like
Lights on.
yes,
Bright. Yes. I've had that. I have that a lot when I'm fasted.
or
And
after boxing. I bet you get it.
After boxing too, but after boxing it's that with some physical tiredness. When I'm fasted or when I'm on keto, when we do carnivore and stuff, in the beginning, especially when I have some black coffee, caffeine on top of that, everything seems upscaled. It's like 4K. And that's exactly that. It's not the fact that you're like, oh, or judging. It's this crisp, crystal clear awareness. Everything sounds sharp. Everything looks sharp. The thoughts have slowed down. That's a big one that I notice. It's less of this rushy conversation internally, jumping from one thing to the other. Everything is,
Yeah.
and at any point in time, I can intercept. At any point in time, I know where this thought come from, what preceded it, what's going to come next. So I'm the architect at that point.
Yeah, and I was going to say, because in my moments of, I certainly get it on fasting, and usually if I go long fast, the third day is when my mind's really like, especially because my body's like, what's going on? Give me something.
Yeah.
So everything's upscaled.
And I think evolutionarily that makes sense.
Yes, absolutely. Of course it makes sense, because you on that third day you really need to go be finding some food.
Exactly.
So your eyes are going to be like, I can hear something. When you're hyper aware in the good possible way, like we're just discussing, it's almost like you have a bit more of a sense of where things are going as well. Not like you can see the future, but you're so observant of things that you're able to make very quick connections, and then therefore very quick decisions. And for me, being somebody who recognizes that I avoid risk where I can, because I like to be as controlled in my thinking as possible, that's where I need to challenge myself more.
Yes.
So if I can be in my hyper aware state as much as possible and be able to make decisions as quickly as possible without worrying too much, just knowing I'm hyper aware now, because I'm clear, because I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to be doing, treating myself the way I'm supposed to be treating myself, food, everything else everything's in place, then I know my decision's going to be right.
Yes.
I won't be questioning myself.
Yeah, that's a great point, because I told you this before. I think faith without relief is make-believe. And what I mean by relief is peace. So when you are in that state, what you actually are on an emotional level is balanced. When you're emotionally balanced versus non-balanced, your decision-making is going to be different. Why? Because when you're emotionally unbalanced, when you're in a negative emotional state, your decision-making is much more likely to align with the regulation of the negative emotion. So the things that you're doing, the outcome of the things you're doing, are the decisions are going to be favored for you reducing your pain or balancing out your pain or even numbing your pain. Mm-hmm. On the other hand, when you're coming from a state of emotional balance, your outlook, your lens is going to be on growth and expansion. So you're going to have a much more long-term than myopic view on your decision making. So if you talk about optimization of decision making, you're going to have a more future outlook, more long-term benefit of your decision making versus short-term gratification. When you're in pain, you'll do essentially anything to just get rid of that pain. Let me eat that chocolate bar, just feel a little bit better. Let me go get drunk, just to feel a little bit better. Let me hit up that person, that girl, just to feel a little bit better. That's why when you make important decisions in your life, it's fundamental to not make them in a state where you're extremely negative. Because the lens through which you view the world is going to have a darker shade. You want to lighten up that shade. And how do you lighten up that shade? You work on balancing your inner state first, and then you make the decision. We know this. We make decisions that we regret when we're in a negative emotional state, when we're angry or sad.
Certainly make decisions you regret when you're boozing.
When you're boozing, yeah. Which is the fake high. Yeah.
Seemed like such a good idea at the time. I've got a tattoo of a Pokemon on my ankle. It's one for Jack. He loves it.
Yeah.
He doesn't regret that decision at all. But yeah, you're right. It's about getting yourself to the best possible baseline. Mm-hmm. As neutral, as EQ, flat as possible.
Yes.
Having that base point.
Neither too high. This is also not good. Neither too low. You want to be in that middle.
Mm-hmm. Open and receptive.
Absolutely. Because when you're in that very high state, you're telling yourself a story, and an elusive story more often than not, that also tints your decision making. So what you want to do is have a neutral state. And so sometimes that can take a few days, sometimes weeks, sometimes even months. And you need to practice something to balance yourself. That's what we're saying. It's not enough to just let time pass. A lot of times you need to do something to ground yourself. Sitting in silence is the easiest one, man. Mm-hmm. If you could just sit in silence every day, your emotional state will slowly flatten and then balance again. And then from there, look at the situation again. You're going to have a different outlook on it. Everything is perspective, but perspective is heavily shaped by emotion.
For some reason, when you were talking about sitting with yourself, I was thinking even about breathing, like the Wim Hof technique.
Yes.
And you building your capacity to have more and to hold your air in your lungs for longer, the more that you practice the depth of the breathing that you do.
For sure.
So it's like, it would make sense to me then that there's parallels for that with sitting with yourself and allowing yourself to get back to a neutral baseline. If you are willing to sit with 5 minutes a day, watch your anxiety go down. Watch the things that you've said, oh, I've got ADHD. Watch those diminish when you prove to yourself that you can sit in quiet for 5 minutes. It's not much.
Yeah.
It's not much,
Yeah.
but it can reverse all of these things that are ailments that we're placing on ourselves to some degree.
It's not much, but it's honest work. That reminds me
Yo.
of that meme.
Yeah.
Bro, but what you said is exactly how I got into all of this. My gateway was Wim Hof breathing and cold exposure.
Yes, I do remember.
2020. That's where all of this was way before like I was even interested in any of that stuff, in the neuroscience of it or in the Bible. It started with that. You know why it started with that? Because I'm someone who is naturally driven towards doing hard things physically. So my gateway to like exploring any of that, the spiritual stuff or quantum stuff, was through the physical. Heavy breathing and heavy cold exposure. That was my gateway to it. So you're absolutely right about that. For a lot of people, maybe it is going to be something more physical, and breathing is a great one. Wim Hof breathing was great, man. It helped me a lot. I did that because of the panic attacks.
Yeah.
That was the first reason why I did that.
I mentioned breathing because it's the most easy thing that anyone can do, and because it also helps if sitting in silence is even too difficult. If you've got too many thoughts going on, at least you can concentrate on the in the out breath.
Mm-hmm.
That certainly was a method for me to begin with to help me get into a regular state of meditating. Breathing was my thing. Come back to the breath. They say that a lot. But like just to put yourself and your nervous system in a state of calm again, then allows you to take that into the day, and you move through the day with a different kind of approach when you're calm.
Oh, for sure. Your perspective changes, of course.
Yeah.
And everything is, like we say, everything is perspective.
Yeah.
The scenario can be objectively the same, but your interpretation of it is going to be shaped based on how much inner turmoil versus balance versus joy you're experiencing.
Which means that you can basically and fundamentally rewrite everything that's happened in your past.
Mm-hmm.
By telling yourself a new story on that and how it's led you to where you are now, rather than it being something that held you back or you stumbled over. You can reframe everything in your past. Essentially, you rewrite your past.
You can. And I think the way to do it is to not just do it with speech and saying it, but through actually revisiting and experiencing what it was that led you to believe what it is you're believing today. To uncover the past as a result of that, which leads us back to getting a PhD and studying your upbringing, essentially, is really what it is. Because one thing is just saying it and saying, oh, back then this was just that, and now I'm going to say this is that. It's just using words. But we want to align the words, which is, again, action realm, with the mental and the spiritual. And so for us to do that, we need to uncover what it is to write that code to begin with. You have to go back to the source before it was written, and then see how you wrote the 0 ones all along. You want to go to the decision tree that led up to that. And as you walk that back, you're actually uncovering those parts. The that's what transforms you.
Yeah.
It's the ahas.
Yes.
That's the rewiring of the brain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why you're super spiritual, bro.
Super spiritual, bro.
Spiritual,
You remember the tune? And it's
yeah.
That's it. Cheers, bro.
Cheers, bruv. It's a banger.
Banger.
Can't wait for the next one.
Let's go.